Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel and my team, my friends. Just another brown girl in America, and we are here to make sense out of a not so common sense world. Say hello, everybody. We are here.
Hey, this is Tim. I'm her old white friend, and just trying to figure out what's going on.
We
No
all
spaces
trying to
here.
figure it out.
No spaces. I'm just here to have some great conversation with some great people.
And it's your man Sconey. Just another black man in America trying to get
Hey.
Tim to find some common sense.
Amen.
Hey, I got my hitters with me.
I'm trying.
You are trying. That's one thing I give to you, Tim. You definitely try. I think that you listen to try understand, unlike most people who just try to listen to respond. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you just get bullheaded. But all right, so we got a special, not so special, but kind of special. I am not going to start this segment off. I am going to let Tim introduce this segment, and then you just let me know, Tim, when you want me to hit play.
Well, I don't have a lot to say to introduce it, but when you play it, when it's done, Nikki, I'll ask the question like you usually do, and let's just see what people think.
All right. This is a video Tim sent us, and we are going to react to this.
Who was sitting in the front row at the inauguration? Who runs the 24-hour corporate media that treats news as entertainment? Who owns the algorithms that keep us angry and divided? A handful of billionaires have redesigned our politics for their own profit. Us versus them. Trolling, owning, name-calling, winning at all costs. It's professional wrestling. We keep watching, we keep scrolling, we keep fighting, and they keep getting richer. These billionaires have literally transformed how we talk to each other. They have transformed how we learn about the world. It's the reason you and your MAGA uncle, who you used to get along with just fine, now live in completely different realities. Politics shouldn't feel this way. Politics is just another word for how we treat our neighbors. And we should treat each other a lot better than this. We can transform this broken, corrupt political system. They may have the money, but we have the majority. But it will require us bringing people together across these manufactured divisions, because the real fight in this country is not left versus right, it's top versus bottom. Fight the system, not your neighbor. You know why politics sucks right now? It's
All right. We good, Nikki?
Yep, we good.
Yeah. So I really appreciate this, gentlemen. And my question would be, if you don't agree with him, I'd wonder why. And if you do agree with what he's saying, do you think it's a lost cause, or do you think individually there's anything we can do to turn the ship around of the money taking over our society, basically? That's my question.
So your question is, you had a two-part question.
Yeah. First, do you agree with his premise?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, I'd be curious why not. And if you do you think it's a lost cause, or is there anything we can do individually to help turn that ship around?
About money into our government.
Yeah.
Okay. You all go and then I'll go.
Let me find out Tim trying to get into this podcasting bag.
Say what?
All right. Let me find out you trying to get into your podcasting bags, finding videos to and stuff to talk about.
Okay? You know, Nikki made the offer, and I just took her up on it.
Oh, as far as the guy, it's tough. It's tough to really have that conversation. And this is why I call myself a conservative and I don't call myself a Republican, because I think both sides are the extremes in terms of thinking my way is the way to think. So that's why I specifically, even though my arguments may sound air quotes Republican, I'm definitely a conservative. So when I say it's tough to have this conversation, it's tough to listen to either side about this specific aspect. Is he pointed out, Uncle MAGA, whatever he said. Well, yes, he's rich, and I just think when it comes to these questions in these conversations, what do you expect for people to do when they get into certain positions? Like if I'm in a certain position and I know somebody that I know wants to be a part of that, whatever it is, then I'm going to pull them in as long as I don't have any reason to not think there would be a better example. If I decide to start a construction company and I know my friend wants to get into construction or they have a history of construction versus somebody that I don't know, I'm going to pull them in. People look for, adhere themselves to familiarity regardless of whatever the situation is. And I say that to say, I don't ever hear the whole looking out for his rich friends only comes from the liberal Democratic side to the conservative Republican side. I don't ever hear, and this is me not hearing it. I don't ever hear Republicans saying that about Democrats or conservatives saying that about liberals. When in reality, there are a lot of rich liberals that do the same exact thing. And they don't ever, and I'm learning this about both sides, specifically liberals, they don't ever call they're the same people out that do the same thing on their side. So what I'm practicing is I'm looking at these situations and trying to balance it out as much as possible. The term is keep that same energy. If your people are doing the same thing that the other side is doing, then you can't say you can't have this argument. So as far as what he was saying about I forgot the other part, but that's all I got for now.
All right. I was biting my tongue, but I appreciate everything you said, Spaces.
Why was you biting your tongue?
Well, because I think he was skirting around the premise of it was, and again, I've talked about this in other podcasts, but the premise of it is there's a small group of ultra rich people that are really dictating our society. They're controlling our media. They're controlling, they're controlling the internet. They're controlling just about every aspect of what makes people engage in society, and it's perverting it to their pleasure and to the detriment of the rest of society. And I agree with that statement. And that was, I'm not sure that I'm not sure still after what you said, Spaces, that I understand how you feel about that question. Do you think that's a true statement?
It's tough to, and you're right, I didn't answer it properly. It's tough for me to agree or disagree because he is one of the people that it sounds like he's liberal or Democratic.
He is. Yeah, he is.
Okay. But he didn't point out the fact that Democrats do the same thing.
Well, he did, though, Spaces. You might have missed it because it was pretty, and maybe even Nikki started a tad late, but he said Republicans and Democrats.
What did I do?
No, you started a tad late, but that's okay. But at some
I
point,
didn't. The video.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but at some point in that, he did say he didn't point fingers at one party or the other. He said it's politics. He said Republicans and Democrats. That's what he said, and it was pretty brief, so it might.
I don't remember hearing that, but
I mean, okay, I'll give you
it up, but I'm pretty sure he said it.
I'll give you this. He did say the battle isn't left or right. He said it's top and the bottom. Mm-hmm. And that ties into what I was saying. Democrats are on the top two as well.
100%.
So, like he started with MAGA and Uncle whatever, but then he if you ask me, he contradicted his statement when he started talking about top versus bottom. If it's top versus bottom, then do top versus bottom.
Spaces, I don't want to cut you off, but what he was trying to, the point with MAGA was that all of a sudden we've got conversations we can't have. And he didn't mean MAGA necessarily in a bad way. He's just saying all of a sudden liberals can't talk to conservatives. Me as and that really rings true with me. I have a lot of family that I'm estranged from because not my direct family, but but it's really hard for me to be in a holiday room with somebody who's got a Make America Great hat on and is espousing it's just hard for me. It makes my life, and I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. It just makes my life hard with people.
I'll say this last thing. I'll say this last thing, right? So you're saying we can't have certain conversations about certain things, right? Under like whoever's in office is going to control media, right? And that's most specifically proliferated from 2020 to specifically 2022, when there was a whole lot of words that we couldn't say. A whole lot of words. And if you say certain words, your whole platform gets taken off of the internet. And to this day, and 4 years later, after the 2022 is 2026 now, we're still dancing around those same words. So that's why I'm saying it's like if you're gonna point out one side, point out the other, even though you have your own personal beliefs, the censorship, and yeah, I'll call it censorship, exists as it pertains to whoever's in office at the time. And I will say for sure, I had never seen greater censorship than those years that I just mentioned. I rest my case.
Tim, let's go and go. But you said, I was just curious. So you got a strange family that you can't talk to now, and not just because you talk to us, you talk to me all the time. What is it specifically why you feel like you can't talk to your family?
Well, so again, it's not I got a large family on my side, but my wife's side is very conservative. And so when we go to their functions, many times we're the only liberal people in the room, and it's very difficult because they know that they, I don't want to say they berate us because it's not like that, but it's hard to have a conversation with people like that you love on some level, but at the same time are so removed from you politically that it just makes your blood boil, And
so y'all had those conversations at family gatherings?
Well, we did. Now we tend to not go, unless it's a funeral or a wedding but if it's casual barbecue at her siblings, we'd avoid them more than go to them because the conversations are just too hard to have.
Yeah, I wouldn't. As a family, I would advise if it's like that, it's so many other things to enjoy about each other and talk about. I would just stay away from politics.
Well, but I hear you, Nikki. But when it's their party, when it's their atmosphere, and when you're the outsider in, they bring it up and we can leave. That's one option, or we can not go, and that's another option.
I was just curious.
Yeah. About that. I appreciate it.
Go ahead, Scone. Hey, Jamel.
So,
what's up?
So, Tim, about the family thing, I'm gonna say it like this. A lot of times, people, and I'm really talking to you about you. A lot of times, people can view other people in a way and not understand that you are the reciprocal of what you think of them. In other words, they see you the way you see them, but you feel like your position is right, but theirs is wrong. But again, you see each other the same way. In other words, you think that the words that come out of their mouth, their opinions are garbage and they just shouldn't even say it. But the opinions and thoughts out of your mind are superior. Whether you want to believe that or not, that's literally what I hear. Like you said, you're in a room full of people that think different. It's just like growing up, Bloods and Crips. It's like having a Crip cousin and you got a whole bunch of Bloods in your hood. And that's what you are, and they feel out like an outsider because technically they are outsider. And it's really no difference. That's this whole gang culture, red, blue. It's the same thing. But I'll offer you this, Tim. How many sides to a coin?
2, maybe 3 if it lands on its edge.
Exactly. Because anybody that can see life like this can understand both sides. That's how I tend to view things, from both sides. I can understand Tim's views, I know my views, and I can walk into a place like this Why? Because I don't have to choose a side to have a conversation. A conversation is just a conversation. Like you said, I'm gonna give you another analogy as to the way you think. Because how do you feel about homosexual people, Tim?
I'm wide open to it. If they
All
want,
right,
let them
great.
do it.
I love that answer because I'm the same way. Because that answer is you being like this, wide open. This is wide open to it because you can see how they feel and you can understand people that don't want to be around stuff like that, right? And see, when it comes to politics, you're not wide open. Not wide open to be, but again, because I know you're not a homosexual, you're not a part of the LGBTQ plus community, correct? But you
Wait, I
can
didn't answer. No, I'm kidding. Yeah,
uh,
correct. Correct.
my bad. But yeah, so with that being said, you don't have problems with them. You don't have problems having conversation with them. You'll buy them a drink at the bar, etc. Right? They're just people. The Republicans are no different, but you
Well,
choose to feel the way that you feel for whatever your reasons are, but that's the way you choose it. You don't have to choose that. You can just like Auntie said, you can have the conversation if you can handle it, or you can just not have the conversation because we could view you the same way you view your family and say, man, I can't talk to Tim. Tim's an idiot. Tim's a jackass. He's stupid. He loves that blue shit, and I don't want to. But I don't approach you like that because I understand that you have your right. You have the right to your opinions. I respect your opinions, and if you go to your family functions with that same attitude of I don't agree with you, but I can respect your opinions. You can sit through those conversations, even if the end result is simply we can agree to disagree.
I'm waving at your beautiful little daughter who's behind you.
That's my baby boy.
Oh, sorry. Well, he was pretty far back there. It was hard to tell.
It's all good. I ain't taking no way. But
But I hear you,
now
Tony, and yeah,
ask
go ahead. Go ahead.
ask your question because I want to answer your question, and I got it so far away from it I can't remember what the question was.
Well,
Do you agree? And if you agree or disagree, explain your situation and what are your thoughts about the video in general.
this gentleman's bottom line, Scony, was that there's a handful of, and you don't like the way I say billionaires, you always say billionaires. You make fun of it. But
Billionaires.
but there's a handful of ultra rich people in this country, and it might be 10, it might be a dozen, it might be 30, but that really control the media. They control social media. They control so much of our lives that they're dictating things. And is there anything we can do? If you agree with that, or do we just give up to it, or is there anything we can do about it?
Well, we can. I mean, listen. Wealthy people are gonna be wealthy people. I'm aspiring to be just like them. So, I mean, I'll say it like this. Uh Wealthy people definitely understand some things that I don't because their wealth gives them access to things that I don't have access to. We don't have access to. Understanding that we don't have access to. So it's one thing for us to judge on the outside, but it's one of those things where if you ever get inside, maybe you think a little different because you're privy to things that you're just not privy to right now. But just on the general sense of what I got out of the video was he was just saying like we can treat each other better. But here's the thing, I'm a conservative. Like Spacey said, I treat my neighbors just fine. I treat my democratic liberal friends such as yourself just fine. So when he says that, I mean, I agree with it, but I have to make no changes in my life to abide by what he's talking about.
Mhm. Did you get the question, Jamel?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, and I think, and you was talking about like money out of politics, just the billionaires running everything. Do you think we'll be able to stop? That's your question, right? I just want
Pretty much the bottom line.
Jamel. Yeah, I want the Jamel to get like the gist of it.
Do you think they'll be able to stop what running the world?
Well, Jamel, the question kind of was, do you feel like our society's been taken over by the ultra rich? And if so, is there anything we can do about it? And maybe you don't feel like that's true.
I think we're already doing it. One of the
Yeah.
things with
My fault, bro. I was like, it's always been like that. My fault.
yeah, I think one of the things is even with social media was one of the biggest breakthroughs as far as people just being able to put out different kinds of content. Now I do understand what Spacer said when he was talking about when you were saying things that were really getting behind with pissing people off, and they was doing a lot of censorship of it and a lot of censorship of social media. But other than that, I think social media has been the breakthrough that we need as far as trying to not just listen to the major news outlets. Like, for example, this podcast. All of us are different than a lot of our counterparts. I think if this was the news, they would say we couldn't get along, but we prove it differently when we meet up and just talk about it. I feel like the podcast, just the name of the podcast itself, and I'm just talking about podcasts all over. I feel like podcasts have a lot of power as far as bringing more people together to look at the world, basically like Sconey said, on a three-sided coin. You need podcasts like this one. You need podcasts like this to just be bigger, to control the market. That way, okay, I understand you liberal. I'm still shaking your hand. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at if you look at just what the news is, you either like Trump or you hate Trump. And that's not our whole country. Because in a way, you got to understand, that's still having one man control everything in our country by whether you like or hate him. And I don't think the presidential election has ever been that deep before.
Well, I agree a little bit with I do agree with everybody. As far as the video, yes, I do agree with his sentiment. As far as me thinking that we can do anything about it, as far as money in politics, I don't think we will ever all the way be able to get it out of politics, but I do feel like there's a couple of things that can be done. We can't do it. They have to vote for it, but they talk about it, but they don't. And so I think certain things like term limits in Congress, I think Congress is the biggest problem. Term limits in Congress. I had it right on the tip of my tongue what they need to stop being able to inside trade off information and get lobbying out of politics. All these drug companies, food, all these people, they need to get money. So once that part gets out, I think a lot of it's not going to all the way balance out because the criminal going to find a way. Me, I always say they going to do what they going to do anyway. Their issue is they do what they want to do, but don't take care of the people. If the people, we really just want safety, good economics, to be able to raise our families, go to the parks, stuff like that. If they took care of and not drive on potholes, if they took care of the people, at least did 30-40% of the stuff they said they was going to try to do, wouldn't nobody even really be paying attention to them or care what they doing with their money if the people was taken care of. Because we not even that invested technically until we doing bad. We start doing bad. We start looking up like, hey, what's going on? So I do agree with a lot of what he said. I guess for me, though, when you talk about unity, a lot of it for me depends on the vessel. So, yeah, we could take it at face value. But however, the true test of the messenger is in his character. That's what I go by. So for me, yeah, I agree with the message, but I think he a little Trojan horse. So it's kind of hard. Like I told you last week, he got a pattern of taking scripture and bending it to justify secular ideological positions. So if he's willing to do that with the Bible, I'm gonna assume his unity call is just a Trojan horse.
What's that guy's name?
Well,
That's the Talerico guy
James
that Jasmine.
Oh, he's the one who beat Crockett and
I mean, yeah, that
here's the thing, Nikki. Here's the thing, Nikki. I hear all that, and it's obvious you're a new grandma because you're being so sweet tonight.
I said nothing can move me.
Yeah, and
I have a baby.
I appreciate the vast majority of what you said, but I think you have to admit when the president of the United States says that he hates all Democrats and that all Democrats are trying to ruin this country, it's kind of hard to get a unity. At least this guy's trying. Trump has said that a number of times. Trump has said that a number of times, and I can find the quotes if you want them. But
so what do you
Democrats
expect? I'm not saying he never
Democrats
said that.
hate the country, and he hates Democrats.
Okay, I understand what you're
how's
saying.
that?
But I'm trying to figure out when he said
Yeah, he did.
He say radical, but I'm gonna go there later. He specifically say radical, but that's not even my point. My point is, I hear this all the time, and Trump, he say stuff that I don't agree with all the time. He'll say some stuff, say he angry or whatever. Everybody get outraged. But what do y'all think? A human being, they call this man every name under the book. They say the most horrendous things about him, and they expect him not to say nothing back. Like, I don't understand where that logic come from.
So they've said
if you can call him a Nazi,
No, they don't.
Oh, you didn't hear the stuff about Obama? You didn't hear what the white racists were saying about Obama, Jamil?
We talking about Trump. We're not talking about
white.
When the dude said
we're talking about presidents of the United States and how people call. I'm sorry, Jamal. Go ahead.
Say that again. Hold on, because I wasn't finished. What happened? I want to know why is that okay, Tim? Why they can call him everything under the book, try to throw him in jail, beat this man down, but then as soon as he say these people evil or they hate, I can't stand them, that's a problem. Like I wouldn't stand them either. They hate him and they say it all the time.
Tim, name a politician that said something about Obama. Any.
Donald J. Trump.
He wasn't a politician.
Show his birth certificate.
All he said was
showed him as a monkey just a few weeks ago.
But that wasn't. He showed all
was in
that
office.
Wasn't him. That was his workers.
Oh, give me
no, it wasn't even his workers. It was attached. It was something attached to a video that he actually posted. If you want, and I don't even want to get into the semantics of that. Fine. He posted
right because he put all the Democrats in the jungle.
So he didn't put all. Someone else made that video. That video already existed. If you want to give him credit, he shared it. Fine, he shared it. Look, I'm gonna say it again. When he was in office, when Obama was in office, name any politician that said anything about him in a derogative, negative way.
Well, I think you're hitting me a little under the belt because they all did. And if you don't think that's true,
they all
did. It is true. Yeah, I mean
that means we can pull him up.
How about
that? Means we can pull it
how
up.
About this? You're an effing liar. When he was talking to Congress, there was a Republican that stood up during his speech to Congress and said, "You're an effing liar."
That's not derogatory name.
Oh, it's not. I'm sorry. I didn't know that one.
No, you said that he was saying that they were saying racist stuff, or ain't that what you were saying?
Yeah, he's talking about. I mean, I know what he's talking about. He's talking about constituents. He's talking about voters, and we're not talking about voters. We're talking about constituents. We're talking about his peers in Congress, his peers in the Senate.
So I'll back up and I'll say this. How about this? Republicans about Donald Trump have said some incredibly terrible things. Check out what Marco Rubio said about him. Check out what all the people that ran against him.
The ones that ran against him that lost.
Yeah. They called him the worst things in the world.
That's because they were running against him.
Well, but find me Democrats who ever did that. They don't do that when they're running against somebody.
That's because they in a cult and they all mind warped. They literally like robots. So one thing I can respect. Now, this is one thing I can respect about both sides. Each side, I mean. one side. Yes, Republicans will call each other out, just like you said, call each other names, do this. That shows they're human. You will never hear a Democrat, even if they don't agree with it, go against the grain because they know they will be destroyed. And that's just the bottom line. You will never hear them get out of lockstep. That's why when you see a black person say they leaving the Democratic Party, they try to whip them back into shape, get them back in, call you all type of names, everything else. But my point, back to what you were saying, and we talking about all these people, they talk about each other, and that goes back to last week when we was talking about how Trump and Obama was just kicking it last week. I mean, at their funeral. They got us all like this. While meanwhile, they doing what they do. So my point is, try not to hate your family over this BS, because all this stuff is created, is narratives. They cause problems just so they could, and try to fix them so they could say they fixed them.
Thank you, dear. And I think that's what the guy was trying to say. And that's how I'm being right now. I mean, I've sucked into the same thing, and I agree. But you look at what Ted Cruz said about Trump, Scony, and tell me that, you know, it's just, so I don't know. I don't know. But I appreciate,
and then the Democrats can't even defend themselves against each other if they wanted to, because they're so sensitive. If you a Democrat, you literally can say nothing. Your words are limited.
They respect.
So you definitely can't take the chance of offending nobody and ending up on the news.
They respect each other.
That's not respect. That is fear. Do you hear the stuff that be caught on hot mics? The stuff that they say when ain't nobody watching?
How about what Trump had to say about John McCain, a Republican war hero?
What about what
Maybe you forgot about that. Maybe you forgot about that.
What about when Democrats called him a pedo?
He is.
How do you? That's not true. And don't you got to say allegedly on this channel? You're not finna get my channel took down with that lie. That's not proven. Ain't nothing in there saying that. And that's what I'm saying. I'm glad we doing this show on propaganda tonight.
But Tim, you
think very important.
But you think Michael Jackson a pedo? You think Mike Tyson is a rapist? You think Tupac is a rapist?
Well, Jamil,
Tyson
was convicted, right?
Don't say that word too much. Don't say that word too much.
Convicted.
Right. Remember, say rapist.
We can say it. Don't say
Michael
too much.
Jackson had a lot of
never convicted.
All right, maybe he wasn't. But
not maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
he wasn't.
I think Bill Cosby was too. What do you think about that?
We wasn't talking about Bill. When we said Michael Jackson, you said that.
Every time we bring something up, you switch the goalpost when we give you like facts on something, and you switch it over.
Jamil said, and he brought this up before, like Trump's not a racist because he was hanging out with Mike Tyson. Well, Mike Tyson is not somebody.
You said they weren't the greatest individuals.
I'm sorry?
You said, and the words I quote, they weren't the greatest individuals.
He was hanging out with Jesse Jackson as well.
He was also,
Jackson had his faults as well. I love some things about him, but
so
I'm not a big fan.
Does Tim have? Don't Tim got faults?
Tim's got a ton of faults. That's why I would never run the hot seat.
If he was hanging with you, they could say you got faults. If he was hanging with me, they could say I got faults. All them kids he got that he take care of.
Who?
Me.
Donald J. Trump? Oh.
I was talking about myself. My bad.
No, it's all right. I think we're getting a little far aside, but
No, but what I'm saying is I understand, but a lot of times it is just hearsay. And when you look at the media, the first thing we have to do with what you brought up, Tim, and I wasn't doing that to demonize you, but I wanted you to see that you were, I don't want to say a slave to the media, but everything that they told you, you believe. And that's the biggest thing that the video you brought up was talking about. Not only, think about it, you believe everything the media say.
Don't say that. Don't say that. That's stupid.
Give me a second.
I don't believe that's not true. That's
okay, well just about powerful black men. But let me cook a little bit.
No, so I love powerful black men. Barack Obama was a powerful black man.
He's not black.
Let him finish. Hold on, Tim. Let him finish his thought, and then you can.
And he's not black. So, like, remember I was telling you, Tim, I was telling you that a lot of Africans don't really like African American men. It's a totally difference. We're totally separate. And you was like, I don't believe that. I was like, I understand. But one of the things, if we're gonna have to battle the media does one thing. They'll give you a beginning of something, but they'll never give you an ending. They'll tell you everything. They'll dog Michael Jackson the whole time he's in court. But as soon as he's exonerated,
They shut
won't
up.
talk about it anymore. They just stopped talking about it. But for the 5 years, they drug his name in the mud. When he's exonerated, they can't drag his name anymore because he can sue now. So they just stop and go on to somebody else. And it happens all the time with a lot of our stars, a lot of the people that we looked up to. But by the time the media finished dragging them down, you like, man, I hate the guy now. Like, even look at the Puffy situation. I thought Puffy had midgets, chimps, monkeys, everything. And to find out he goes to jail because he paid for his girl to have sex with strippers or have sex with guys?
She set that up too. But
Correct.
Hey, the media had me like drugs and baby oil.
You wasn't in court like you wasn't in court a little bit like where is the monkeys at? Like, I know it's some chimps, some baboons, where is the small people at? It's one chick with one guy at a time. She made the contact, she picked the guys, and she had sex with him. He didn't have sex with him, but he go to jail. If that's not a media presentation of how they tear down people, because we already had our minds made up of what he did before we seen the facts.
That's why they dropped the video of him beating Cassie before any of this started. So we could already have a preconceived notion of what we were going to be thinking. But to Spaces, you had said earlier that you said whoever in office really controls the media. Now, we know that not to be true with President Trump in, because they drag him. There's literally, and I think I looked this up once, 80 to 90% of the media reports bad on President Trump. That has never happened before. That is an agenda. Trump was never called racist, never been racist. Nobody thought he was racist. That never even came up until he came down the elevator and said he was not running Democrat.
Nikki, you better check.
So I'm talking to Spaces for a second.
She don't have to check herself. She know.
Well, it's just not true what she's saying, but that's fine.
No, it's absolutely is true. I don't just listen to the media and what they tell me. I actually go look these numbers up and do the research. But no, Spaces, I don't believe it, because look how they drag Trump. Look how they do Trump. You really think that this administration, or even before, especially before, was worse? Because he should have been suing their ass like he doing now. You think they control the media?
Well, I would just say that in response to what Tim said. And he has the absolute power to do so. But
How?
the fact that people are outwardly saying and speaking against him proves that he cares more about the freedom of speech and people expressing themselves in the way that they want to, more than what Democrats wanted to when Joe Biden was in office.
Oh, well, that's the point. I thought you were saying controlling a narrative. You saying just letting people, because dictators wouldn't let you do that. Yeah, people say what they want to say and criticize. But this is what they don't want. They don't want us meeting together. They don't want us talking about this. They don't want us researching. Their numbers are at an all-time low. Mainstream media is going to be dead because people are moving to spaces like ours. You got, like Jamel said, all these different perspectives, thought processes. We can talk, get along. They don't want the nuance in there. The media never wants nuance.
Like, just think about it. In 5 years, we probably going to be sitting down watching the Move TV and enjoying shows on the Move TV.
What is that?
Yeah, what is that, Jamil?
That's Scony.
The Move TV?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
this
right
is
there.
the Move?
Oh,
Well, I hope that's true. I hope that's true.
But all I'm saying is this is how we break up the rhetoric. Like imagine if everything, like for example, I always love people like Lucille Ball. I grew up watching. But then one day, out of the blue, I've been loving this person for 40 years. But out of the blue, Lucille Ball is a terrible person. She's this, she's this, she's this. And it's like, dang. Like, for example, you know who is going on with now? Ellen. When the last time you seen Ellen face?
Ellen left the country
she
because
left,
of Trump.
because of Trump. Yeah.
But now she ready to come back.
Now she's trying to come back.
Yeah, because her name is where?
In the mud.
In the Epstein
Because she's a
files.
lesbian.
Nah,
she's
it's not.
gay.
That's
She's
not
gay
true.
when
That's
she was a
100%
stand-up
why it is.
comic.
Nobody cared about her being gay, Tim.
Nah.
Why you
Yeah, they
always
do.
think people be you?
The truth is,
that
she
be
took
the thing with
herself out of the spotlight. She took herself out of the spotlight.
No, something happened with her staff or something. She was evil, pretty
her
much.
true character got leaked to the public.
Right. It didn't have nothing to do with her being gay or none of that. That's just where y'all mind
When
go
her
to.
true
Y'all
character
always
came
go to
out,
race,
she
sex,
left.
man, woman. That is where a liberal's mind automatically go to, that anytime something happen or somebody don't like somebody, or it's got to be because she a woman, or because they gay, or because they black. That's just not true. They just a shitty person. It's not
like I
always
said,
true.
I was
All right.
trained
Or
to
just
I'll
not
take
a
that. I'll take
cultural
that.
fit for what's going on.
I'll take
I
that.
mean, sometimes
Yeah, I ain't gonna say shitty. Well, in Ellen case, I was saying she turned out to just be a shitty person, but yeah, cultural fit, stuff like that.
I'll say this, and this will be my last point about it. What I noticed in recent, probably literally within his last, I want to say 2 months, I've seen more people that advocated for Trump before he was elected turn around and say, speaking against how he's moving. I've seen a whole lot of people say that. This is, as far as what we're doing with Iran and all that stuff, this is not what I voted for. I've heard people that admittedly voted for Trump and say, this is not what I voted for. This is not where I thought my vote would go. Speaking outwardly against him, I have not yet ever heard a Democrat do the same thing.
They will never do that.
About what?
They are clones of each other.
I'm sorry, Spaces. About Biden?
About
anybody.
About anybody. They don't speak out against each other.
Well, I'm sorry. Let me finish that. Because a lot of Democrats spoke up against Biden when it was clear he was not the right
That was
candidate.
once he was out of office and he
lost. Nikki, would you let me finich?
Let
me finish, girl. There was a lot of us liberals that could see he was not the right candidate. He was losing his faculties. He was freaking. It drives me crazy that we put him up to be the next president, because he was not any way supposed to be that. So a lot of people spoke up against him. I don't know where you come up with that.
We're talking about the media. We talking about the loudest voices. Regular people probably spoke up about it, but the media tried to convince us that was right-wing narrative. The media tried to convince us that everything was fine. The media tried to convince us that we didn't see him walk into the woods during the press conference. So my whole point about this particular stream is propaganda. We cannot let this be propagandized, and that could be with Fox too. Now, I will say Fox was created because everything's so liberal, but they still gonna lean more towards right.
Well, not only lean,
all the other ones are going to lean liberal.
I'm gonna work on a bombshell video for Tim next week.
Yeah, all right, thank you. But how about this, Nikki? Just last week, when Trump wore his baseball cap, did you guys see that?
That wasn't nothing. You made a big. I saw you post that. I'm like, you just sit here. I say, y'all find any little reason to be outraged. He wore a hat. He wore a hat every day.
So how about this? Fox News showed an outdated version of a honorable. I forget the name of that ceremony, with him without the hat. That's what they played. They didn't want to show him with the hat on.
I don't know. I saw him.
Oh, you don't know that?
No, I'm saying I saw him when he was getting up service members. Now, I don't even, matter of fact, is that true? Because I saw your post and I did see the president and his wife welcoming. I can't even remember if I saw a hat
Well,
or not.
Fox News
Y'all
showed
talk.
it.
I'm gonna look and see what I remember. Let
Fox
me look and
News
see if I can find
totally tried to.
Either way, whether he had a hat on or not, what difference it made?
Well,
Like,
it's
why did
very
that enrage
disrespectful.
you so much? He
Well,
was doing.
here's why. It's a hat that he sells to promote himself. That's a hat that he was wearing that he sells to raise money for his campaign. And nobody wears a hat when you're saluting to fallen soldiers. And Fox News showed a clip without the hat on because it was 6 months old.
Typical.
And tried to pretend like it was the same ceremony. And you're going to say that it's liberal media? Give me a freaking break.
I did not say that. I literally said Fox is going to lean more conservative, and the rest of them are going to lean liberal because they are liberal. That's what I said.
Okay.
I said it's propaganda. Okay. But
It's
I
a downright lie.
I saw that ceremony, but I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what he had on. I already knew that Libs was going to find a reason to make it disgusting. Like,
well,
it's crazy.
Well, it was. But can I ask you guys a quick question?
That he wore a hat.
Another one to play.
He been selling hats forever. The hat's been selling for years now.
Yeah. All right. That's fine.
I see people with Biden hats on. I see people with Harris
at
hats
solemn
on.
ceremonies.
Well, Biden couldn't perform at one of those ceremonies. Biden was checking his watch at the last ceremony.
Show me that one, Nikki. Show me that one, Nikki.
Where he was checking his watch.
With hats on. Democrats with hats on.
I'm talking about Biden checking his watch like he had somewhere to go when he was at his. You don't care about that? That wasn't disgusting.
Yeah, Trump breathing is not constitutional. He take a step too early. It's unconstitutional.
I didn't phrase. I'm trying to give some other people some space because.
Well, you gotta move when you do that. You scared me.
If he lifts,
it might be a heart attack. Sorry.
If he lifts both hands, it's unconstitutional. It's wrong. If he turns his head, it's wrong and unconstitutional. If he says, "Hey, everybody," that's unconstitutional and illegal. No matter what, it's always going to be illegal. It's going to be unconstitutional. You talking about a hat? Come on, man. And you said it's outdated. If it's outdated,
it's unconstitutional. It's disrespectful.
If it's outdated, it's outdated. You said that.
All right.
Guys wear hats in church now. They wear ball caps in church. They don't wear suits. It like life progresses.
That's fine. That's fine. I wear a hat 24/7. But if fallen soldiers are coming in front of me, I'm taking my hat off.
But that's just like, people had an outrage, and this was Republicans because Obama wore a tan suit. Who gives a hell? Like, what are we making a big deal about? It was a tan suit.
If he wears a green tie with a blue suit, that's illegal. Like, come on, man.
Nikki, I know you got another video, but can I ask a quick question?
Go ahead. I'm just looking. I'm looking at the things for the ceremony.
Well, yeah, okay, good. Thank you.
All of them I see he have a hat on. I don't see nothing.
Check Fox News out. They're original. Fox News showing. Yeah. Anyway, I got a real serious question for you guys because I'm trying to figure it out from our last visit and from others. What historical Black folks do you rely on for inspiration? Like
Thomas
Malcolm X? No, not Malcolm X.
Thomas Sowell.
Okay, Thomas Sowell. I'll have to look him up. I don't know. I mean, there's other ones that I know.
Ben Carson.
Okay. I'm making notes. Believe me, I am.
What's the one that's a judge now? We got a Black man that's a Supreme Court judge.
Thomas? You look to him for inspiration. Yeah, his name's Thomas.
Clarence Thomas,
yeah, Thomas.
Fox News video has him with a hat on.
What about James Baldwin? You think he's an idiot?
I gotta see his face.
No, James Baldwin, never mind. Maybe you just don't know him. But Malcolm X.
I probably know him. I just gotta see his face. I heard the name. Let me see.
X was a Republican.
No, I'm talking about historical Black figures that like, I'm pretty sure Martin Luther King doesn't mean much to you guys because he was a Uncle Tom or whatever. But I'm thinking about people like Malcolm X or like James Baldwin.
Martin Luther King was Uncle Tom.
I'm assuming you think that though.
Y'all gotta quit doing that.
Okay. You look up to what he did?
Martin Luther King? Well, once I know exactly what was happening, no. I mean, I ain't never really, I feel like we was I respect him, and yes, I look up to him in a certain aspect. But once I figure out who and what he really was, you know, I've always been kind of a Malcolm X girl. That's just kind of been me.
I
I'm a
love
Malcolm X girl. I've always felt like we were living in somebody else's dream. And when we talk about the I Have a Dream speech, that was his dream. We
Right.
were doing fine before his dream was realized. Black folks were doing better. We had homes, we had 2-parent households, we had business, we had all of this. Maya Angelou told him, and this is what said, I was watching a documentary, he was not going to do that I Have a Dream speech. He was going to do another speech. Maya Angelou reportedly whispered in his ear right before ahead of time and said, tell them about the dream. And that's how he ended up doing that speech. There's another clip of Martin Luther King after the fact in a meeting with his team, telling them that he feel like he led his people down a burning bush or something like that.
Into a burning building.
Yeah, burning building. He regret that he led us towards liberals and towards that direction. So,
Right. Well, it was just a really honest, serious inquiry to see who I should
we
try
got
and
black
read,
people this
who
too.
I
We
should
just
try
know
and
that
look
black
up.
Democrats now, we realize who all these people are now. And so no, we do not have nobody ever had respect for Al Sharpton ever, even when he was
Right. Exactly. I agree with that. He was bad from the beginning.
Yeah,
So,
nobody.
in my opinion about that, I'm not going to say that Martin Luther King moved the wrong way, because here's the thing: it was a lot going on that shouldn't have been happening. The bus boycott had to happen. The walk on Washington, the march on Washington, it had to happen. But the main problem was, and this is how I feel, Martin Luther King made an agreement with a man that became president. But I feel like because of that agreement, that man was killed. And that's how I look at when I look at John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy didn't even get to start the work that was supposed to happen. Everybody that was there supposed to continue the movement of bringing the world closer to where it's supposed to be today, they were murdered. The Kennedys' whole family, the lineage was almost killed and put out. And you look at Lyndon B. Johnson. I'm not saying he didn't take a small step on the wave that was brought by Kennedy, but it was definitely just a little bit. His thought process was for his own things. He had a totally different thought.
Yeah, he wanted to have those uppity niggers voting Democrat for the next 200 years. That's an exact quote.
That's fine. Well, I'll tell you though, Nikki. So Malcolm X, I look up to him tremendously. I think you ought to check out James Baldwin because he's a very powerful historic figure.
How you look up to Malcolm X when he told us to watch out for the white liberal and told us y'all was devils?
That's fine. He also talked heavily about white privilege. He didn't use that term, but he understood it.
I don't think you understood the context.
Oh, I do understand the context.
He literally warned. So if you could listen to that, you could understand why he would warn us about the white liberals.
That's fine.
You're not addressing that though.
We're talking about back in his day what he was talking about, and I agree with him.
Well, no, it's true to this day, but I do want to go ahead because we've been talking about this for a while. And segue. So I pulled this up. One minute, this might be another one because I did want to be talking about propaganda, but let me make sure this is the one I want to show. Yeah. So this is the one I want to show. So I'm gonna use this, and we're gonna talk about how the media manipulates things when it comes to politicians and who they want to win. And it's essentially election rigging. And this is still with the Talerico and Jasmine Crockett I want to talk about how they tried to play her on this interview. So this sharing screen is killing me. I don't like this.
You must have a lot of tabs open.
Huh?
You must have a lot of tabs open.
I mean, I don't feel like I do. Dang.
That's Texas State Representative guest tonight. That's Texas State Representative James Talerico. He was supposed to be here, but we were told in no uncertain terms by our network's lawyers, who called us directly, that we could not have him on the broadcast. Then I was told in some uncertain terms that not only could I not have him on, I could not mention me not having him on. And because my network clearly doesn't want us to talk about this, let's talk about this. You've probably heard.
We did receive information suggesting that the federal government did not shut down this segment. Number one, that is my understanding, that the federal government didn't shut this down, and we will do an official statement once we get another official statement that we anticipate is going to be coming from Paramount. All right, so we will read what they say, and then we'll go from there. It is our understanding that Colbert, either Mr. Colbert or CBS, decided that they would get on Paramount. And this was because of a fear that the FCC may say something to them, and that there may have been advice to just have me on, and then they could clear the issue. It was my understanding that someone somewhere decided we just don't want to do that, and instead we're going to just do it this way.
Guest tonight.
Saying that, you heard that. Now, if you don't know the backdrop to that, or understood exactly what she was saying, basically, it's kind of the same thing that was happening with the elections, with the equal time thing. They tried to say that the Trump administration wanted to block that interview, and they tried to blame it on that. But Jasmine Crockett found out that that was not true, and basically they didn't want to air her. They basically was trying to push him up because they didn't want her to go to the general election. They don't think she beat her. I mean, they don't think she could win. So that's the Democrats' pick. That was the media's pick. She's saying, come to find out, they just decided not to even air it because they didn't want her on there. They had the option to have her on there. Not that they couldn't. The whole narrative was they didn't want her to do it in the Trump administration, whatever. No, they didn't want her on there. So they decided not to air the interview that Talerico did because they would have had to follow the equal time rule. And that's where the FCC came in at, to make them comply with that ruling. I mean, with that rule. So back to the media. What y'all think about that? I don't have a question particularly. We just trying to hash this out.
I guess when you kept on saying they, I'm not sure who you meant. Who is they?
FCC.
The FCC. All right. So are you saying?
No, what do you mean? What did I say? They?
Well, you kept on saying they didn't want her to be on. The
network.
Well, the network. The network clearly didn't want her to be on.
Colbert was talking about when he said they told me not to.
Yeah. He never said Trump. He never said the administration. He said his network wouldn't allow it, and that's just
that was in that clip.
Lawyers
eventually, they said they had end up trying to weave in there that because I guess Trump cool with the FCC guy that he had something to do with that, which had nothing to do with nothing.
Well, Colbert never said that. I mean, the FCC did threaten them and said they shouldn't do that without equal time. But Jasmine Crockett's been on Stephen Colbert's program. He loves her. He's got no problem having her on. It's not like she's never been on.
So that's not what we're talking about, though. We're talking about she wasn't in an election against somebody that they wanted to win at that time. They don't care if they like you or not. You are just to be used. None of them people like each other. That's not how that goes. So if you get instructions to say, this who we want, interview him, push him out. He did not offer that to her. My thing is, so I guess I do got a question. So when they were told to give her equal time and to have her on, why do you think they didn't do that? Why do you think they didn't do it and just decided to scrap the whole thing?
Well, Nikki, I don't know about the premise of your question because James Colbert has had her on more than he's had.
We're not talking about what he had. We're talking about this specific incident, Tim. You keep moving the goalpost.
But what you're trying to say is there's some definite thing where they said if you have her on, you can have him on. I'm trying to find out where that is.
I'm saying
I didn't hear that.
We're talking about during election season, not just any other time.
Okay,
there are certain rules that they have to follow. So once the FCC or the network or whoever found out that they didn't give her or offer her an interview regarding the election, but they had him on, said have her on and you can keep this up, but they decided not to have her on and to scrap the whole thing. This is where the critical thinking come in at. We can't be bipartisan and not like, this is where we come in at with that edge of the coin Sconey was talking about. Why do you think they did that? Is my question to you. I'm
being quiet because I think your question is wrong. I think he would have had her on. I don't think that was
didn't
ever.
Have her on though. He scrapped her on when he was given instructions to have her on to talk about her election. They did not do it.
Show me that, Nikki. I don't believe that's a true statement.
They didn't do it. Ain't nothing to show you.
Show me where they said.
Okay, she just told you. Here, I will play the video again. She just said like she.
Oh, you believe Jasmine Crockett now? You think what she says is the God's truth? I'm glad to hear that.
Hell no.
I didn't think you respected.
No, I'm asking you a question. Why do you think they do it? It ain't about the truth. I can watch how stuff played out, and I know that she ain't finna give nobody with the Trump administration no type of props unless it's true.
But you're going to believe what she says about
that she could be lying because she could be trying to get away. That's what I'm asking you. What do you think happened?
I think
what
she's
do you
lying.
think that happened? Do you think she's lying then?
Yes.
You don't trust Jasmine Crockett now?
Well, I think she was lying in that case. I don't think they said to Colbert, you can have him on and her on, because I think he'd do that in a heartbeat. He loves
Let's play the video.
He had her on before.
All right. Can somebody else talk while I do this?
I think the reason why they didn't have her on was because he was far more radical than her. I'm just listening because I've listened to him talk, and the way specifically the more I listen to these current Democratic politicians, the more I am convinced that they're trying to dismantle and live life in the opposite fashion of how it's supposed to live. Specifically when it comes to James Talerico, he's speaking the 100% opposite of what the Bible says. His own words. So that's why I think because Jasmine Crockett was, she was.
Give me some quotes to back that up, because that's total bullshit. Give me some quote from James Talerico that is opposite of what the Bible says.
You can wait until I'm finished what I'm saying, though.
Okay.
Right. I've been quiet on purpose, letting everybody talk.
Sorry, go ahead.
Like he is 100. He's talking about how Jesus was this certain way. It's the opposite of how the Bible was. He's talking about how, man, like he's just far more radical, and that just plays into what I'm hearing the Democrats are saying. He's playing further into it, and Jasmine Crockett she was like a mile piece in comparison to what it was. You can say that she's black, dumb stuff. You can say that she's a woman. That I would wait. I won't argue against that played into why she didn't get elected, but it's still dumb stuff And she knows that it's dumb stuff because she lost and tried to blame the Republicans for her losing. It's a Democratic election. What Republicans got to do with that? So that's my theory, and that's what we're discussing right now is theories. So that's what I think. I think he was far more radical than her. He was playing further into the dismantling of how we live everyday life, for far more than what Jasmine Cracker was talking about. So they went with her. Oh, they went with him.
Okay, so and Tim says he wanted to know about the Bible verse.
Well, so Scony, I'm sorry, Spaces. Yeah, excuse me, but that is just so wrong what you said, like a fact. Like James Talerico uses the Bible totally opposite from what it is. Tell me one thing that he said. One thing.
Well, he
Thank you.
used
Well, the
Thank
one
you,
thing,
Spaces.
the one
Say
thing
one
he
thing he said.
Galatians. He
said
used
God is
Galatians 3.
non-binary.
Yeah, I was gonna say he used Galatians 3:28 to try to act like God was gay or something. He said he in that
Tell me
scripture
exactly
said
what he
that-
said.
I'm talking, Tim. You
God
can't ask
is
the question and not let us
non-binary.
finish. There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male and female, for you all are one in Christ Jesus. So how Talerico decides to use it has quoted, arguing that Christ's gender distinctions are abolished, meaning God is non-binary. He uses it to oppose legislation restricting transgender students from playing in women's sports. So that is not what that's about. Paul is not discussing biology or sociology here. Nobody was doing all that. He is arguing that your status before God, your access to salvation through faith is not dependent on your ethnicity, social status, or gender. Everyone is equal welcome. That does not mean God abolished genders. Like, that's one thing that he said, and that is taking that book totally out of context.
And the thing of it is he's advocating for open borders, transgenders, to serve a non-binary God. And this is just him all the way. Like, it's crazy.
And he in a church doing that. That's why people don't trust preachers and false prophets and all that. Like, they don't trust that now. You can't do that. Another one, creation has to be done with consent. So basically, he was saying that Mary gave consent. Basically, he was trying to argue for abortion. So he used Luke 1:38, and Mary said, "Behold, I am the servant of the Lord. Let it be to me according to your word." Talerico framed it, the angel Gabriel's message to Mary, as Gabriel asking Mary for consent before she conceived Jesus. He argues that this sets a biblical principle that creation must be done with consent, justifying a pro-choice position. But that is not what that was for. Mary wasn't choosing between option A and option B. She was affirming her identity as a servant of God. The text says she was overshadowed by the Holy Spirit, not given a choice to decline God's direct will for salvation of the world. She was overcome, overshadowed. She said, well, let your will be done, whatever the case may be. So that's just not cool.
Then when you look in the Bible, Mary is fully going along with the situation. The angel came to Mary and Mary was fully following the situation. He's presenting it like the angel gave her a choice.
No, the angel told her what was going to happen.
And that's what I'm saying. She was fully consenting, since liberals like to use that word, consenting to the situation. She was fully submissive to the situation. He's presented it like the angel gave her a choice. I can find a video if that's what you need me to show you of him saying it. I watched it.
Even if we went along with the whole consenting to pregnancy and motherhood, that's not consenting to abortion. Even if I went with his logic, that's still not, because he's using to argue abortion.
But on the other side of it also, open borders. I mean, even from a safety standpoint, one of the things, and the reason that to me, I think open borders is the worst thing that ever happened, can be the worst thing that ever happened to this country, is that's the only way we can really be touched. Somebody has to already be here. But when you put into a position that they can just be here with no identification, you don't know who they are, and we know that 1.4 billion was given to Iran right before Obama left, and that money was used to fund people against us. Like, and then it's the other part. When you a sovereign nation like this one is, before somebody comes here, they're supposed to pledge allegiance to our flag. That's how a country gets stronger. If you have people coming from different nations and they're all pledging allegiance to our flag, that's what strengthens our country. But when you have people that come to our country, but they're still pledging allegiance to their flag, that operates in division. That's why you see the problems, what's going on in Minneapolis or Minnesota, basically, because those people put online that they weren't one with our country and that they still had their ties with their country. And those where the problems come in. You take somebody like him that's supposed to be woke. No, the things that he stands for will tear our country apart from the inside. And if you look at how America is set up, that's the only way to beat us, is if they tear us down from the inside.
Well, we've been having sleeper cells here for a long time now. And that, with the border open, I was telling somebody that today, like, I get nervous, but what really terrifies me is knowing that we got all these sleeper cells right in the middle of America with all these illegals. And the reason it scares me and probably bothers me more than the person who live in different type of neighborhoods is because they take all those illegals and they drop them right in our neighborhoods. They don't take them to Ladue. They don't take them to Kirkwood. They don't take them out in the suburbs. They drop them right in the hood where we already struggling. So I don't know. But like I say, the media is the devil. And that's my whole consensus when I'm boiling down to, because the media is trash. The media, a lot of these people wouldn't be able, in this right, left, whoever, would not be able to get away with the stuff they get away with if it was not for the media. If they would just do their damn job, investigating, reporting, or just reporting the facts like they come in without putting their opinion in there. Like, we should not hear a news anchor's opinion. That should be nowhere in the news. Their opinion. They should state the facts. And now if they want to have an opinion show, make a whole separate panel show or show us something, you know. But that's not cool. That's not cool at all.
I'm going to share my screen because I'm one with, I'm real big, and I agree with him. He said, show me one thing.
Can you, I got to pull it up, or can you? I got to add it. Okay.
Yeah. This is James Talerico right now.
What do you think is the biblical evidence?
Can y'all hear
with the opinion of being pro-abortion?
Yeah, I hear it.
My favorite figure in the Bible, the mother of Jesus. And, you know, she is, she's an oppressed peasant teenage girl living in poverty under an oppressive empire as a Jew. And she has a vision that she's going to give birth to a baby who's going to bring the powerful down from their thrones. God asks for Mary's consent. which is remarkable. I mean, go back and read this in Luke. I mean, the angel comes down and asks Mary if this is something she wants to do. And she says, if it is God's will, let it be done. Let it be. Let it happen. So to me, that is an affirmation in one of our most central stories that creation has to be done with consent. You cannot force someone to create. Creation is one of the most sacred acts that we engage in as human beings, but that has to be done with consent. It has to be done with freedom. And to me, that is absolutely consistent with the ministry and life and death of Jesus. And so that's how I come down on that side of the issue. Again, I'm very open for my fellow Christians to disagree with that, and they may have scriptural passages they point to be anti-abortion. And I think that's a debate that we should feel comfortable having. All I'm saying is that it shouldn't be assumed that just because you're a Christian, you are anti-gay or anti-abortion, because there are so many Christians out there who don't subscribe to either of those policy positions.
So there's a lot of nuance if you're talking about abortion, right? Because you're not just talking about a woman's right to choose, but you're also talking about and incest.
That's right.
Right. So you're talking about a woman's right to choose whether or not she carries a baby when it was not her choice to begin with.
That's right. And it's why I think that almost everyone in this country is pro-choice to some extent.
All right. And one more thing, Ms. Nikki. I just need you to share my screen one more time. Once you pull it up, I think she stepped away from. Okay, cool. So it said, this is Luke 1:26. 6 months after Elizabeth had become pregnant, God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a city in Galilee. The angel went to a virgin promised in marriage to a descendant of David named Joseph. The virgin's name was Mary. When the angel entered her home, he greeted her and said, "You are favored by the Lord. The Lord is with you." She was startled by the angel and said, by what the angel said, and tried to figure out what this greeting meant. The angel told her, "Do not be afraid. You have found favor with God. You will become pregnant, give birth to a son, and name him Jesus. He will be a great man and will be called the Son of the Most High. The Lord will give him the throne and ancestor of David. Your son will be king of Jacob's people forever, and the kingdom will never end." Where is the consent that he's talking about in there? He didn't ask her. He didn't ask her for permission. It's you will become pregnant. So that's what I mean when James Talerico is speaking about 100% opposite of what the Bible is talking about.
He said,
back to the conversation from last night, Jamil, on the other panel, when just based off what you said, stepdaddies are dope. Joseph was a stepdaddy.
Definitely. But he was like a stepdaddy for a long time. Because he was he was there like month one.
But you know, Joseph wasn't going for it at first, though. At first, Joseph was like, "Wait a minute, are you sure you a virgin?" He had to go be dealt with too. He ran off.
But the same spirit came to him.
That's what I'm saying. He had to go be dealt with on his own time. God had to deal with him.
Yeah, he has, because he was dealing with a black woman. Black women be playing.
Whatever.
So Spaces, can I say thank you for pointing that out? And I'm what I would call myself is a spiritual person, and I'm not somebody who believes in the literal every word of the Bible is the truth, because if you do that, you can go down some really dark rabbit holes, especially in the Old Testament. So what I think is the truth about that is, I appreciate you pointing that out, and I called you up on it, and you showed me you were right, and I give you that prop. But I also would say, if you look at the teachings of Jesus, that what he says, a rich man has I can't quote them all, but it's so much more. Trump is like the antithesis of what Jesus preached.
Trump is the only one that even bring up God.
Nikki, I'm talking. Excuse me, dear. But that's all I'm trying to say is his whole wealth, his whole greediness, his whole gluttonous, his whole having 3 wives and different babies and using prostitutes and all that is so anti to what Christ preached. And I don't know all the words of the Bible. And I think Spaces, again, I'll give you props. You're right. And I made that mistake. But I still think that when Talerico points out the 10 Commandments in Jesus Christ, or, you know, and Donald Trump and how he relates to the 10 Commandments, I don't know how you guys skate around all that. And I'm not Catholic. I was brought up Catholic, but I'm very anti-religion. I'm spiritual, but I think that organized religion and following certain exact paths, like this is the truth, is a problem. Even for James Talerico, even for anybody. But again, Spaces, I apologize because you were right.
Well, my thing with it is,
especially
good, when you're trying to do ideologies, don't play with God. Like, you got a first one-way ticket to hell playing with him. People think that God is a joke. I don't understand why. I get how the world made them think he is. Even everything that's going on right now, we living in Revelation. That's why I'm worried about it. All this stuff was written. And I know how the story ends. So I'm not worried about it. All the stuff that's going on, the Euphrates River dried up. I told people, they told me I was crazy. When it dried up, I said, oh, war coming next. Then nobody believed me. That book is real. That book is a history book. Now, I get what you're saying. Like, they took all these 400 men. But if we talking about the Torah, which is the Old Testament, and we talking about Matthew, Revelations, the rest of them got a lot of good information, but they are not the scriptures. They're the gospel. What was preached. But when we talking about scripture, all this was already written. And I don't like that. Like, you cannot play with God like that to use it for a political agenda. That's just absolutely wrong. You just shouldn't do that. And then you talk about how Trump did this, Trump did that. Who did Jesus hang around? What are we talking about? You sound like a Pharisees. And Jesus did not like the Pharisees. Jesus hung around prostitutes, thieves. He hung around all them, and
100%,
he redeemed them. And God always uses the unlikely person, and that person always gets persecuted and hated. He always uses an unlikely person to do what he wants to get done. It's all through the book. He even used David, and David sent somebody's wife to the front line so he can have her. But he used her.
She burnt them.
I'm just saying.
So there's a Christian nationalist movement. I'm sorry. There's a Christian nationalist movement now that blesses Trump as the anointed one to save our country. They put their arms on him. I don't know if you've seen the pictures.
They prayed for him.
They pray for him, not for us. They pray for him. It scares me.
The Bible says pray for your leaders. The Bible says pray for your leaders.
You don't think you're supposed to pray for your leaders?
Why? Like, it's outrageous to want your leader to fail. Why would you want the leader of a country?
I don't want him to fail.
Yes,
I want
y'all
our country to succeed.
Everything you do, even when it's good, y'all find a way to make it bad. He can't even wear a hat.
Nikki? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna mute.
All right, well, I'm gonna move on. Go ahead. Anybody got something else to say? I got one more video about.
No, let's watch the video
about the media. This is a little lengthy, but it'll give us the full context. It's the last one, but yeah, and it's just about mainstream media and lies and propaganda. So hold on, because I got this darn. I gotta figure out what's wrong with my downloader. I don't like this screen share stuff. Go back and forth. Come back up. All right.
Historic trend of major media mistakes in the era of Trump, forming a disturbing pattern.
And now, the President and First Lady of the United States will take their first dance.
The tone was set on President Trump's first official day in office. CNN claimed Nancy Sinatra was not happy about her father, Frank Sinatra's song, My Way, being used at Trump's inauguration.
I did it my way.
Nancy Sinatra responded on Twitter, "That's not true. I never said that. Why do you lie, CNN? Actually, I'm wishing him the best." Meantime, Time incorrectly reported that President Trump had removed the bust statue of Martin Luther King Jr. from the Oval Office. That false news went viral. In February 2017, TMZ reported Trump had changed the name Black History Month to African American History Month, implying the change was racist. In fact, it turns out Presidents Obama, George W. Bush, and Clinton all called Black History Month African American History Month. Also, the Washington Post reported on the cabinet battle over Trump's immigration order. The article was repeatedly updated to note that one of the reported meetings did not actually occur. A conference call did not happen as described in the article, and actions attributed to Trump were actually carried out by his chief of staff. And the New York Times reported on supposed contacts between Trump campaign staff and senior Russian intelligence officials. FBI Director James Comey later testified it was not true.
That report by the New York Times was not true. Is that a fair statement?
In the main, it was not true.
In May, the BBC and The Guardian reported because Trump wasn't wearing headsets, he didn't bother to listen to the translation of a speech by Italy's prime minister. But Trump was wearing his earpiece in his right ear, as always, said the White House. In June 2017, NBC News reported that Russian President Putin said he had compromising information about Trump. Actually, Putin said the opposite.
Do you have something damaging on our president?
Well, this is just another load of nonsense. Where would we get this information from?
CNN and ABC falsely reported that FBI Director Comey was going to refute Donald Trump's claim that Comey told Trump 3 times he wasn't under investigation. Instead, Comey confirmed Trump's claim under oath.
It appears that you actually volunteered that assurance. Is that correct?
That's correct.
CNN retracted a report claiming Congress was investigating a Russian investment fund with ties to Trump officials. Newsweek reported Poland's First Lady refused to shake Trump's hand, but later acknowledged she did. CNN edited a video to make it appear as though Trump impatiently dumped a box of fish food into the water in Japan. The full video showed Trump had simply followed the lead of Japan's prime minister. Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal falsely reported special counsel Robert Mueller had subpoenaed Trump's bank records. AP reported a new survey showed trust in the media had fallen during the Trump presidency, but the survey was actually conducted under President Obama. The New York Times said a hypothetical family's tax bill would rise nearly $4,000 under Trump's tax plan. It turns out their taxes would actually go down $43. The New York Times and CNN shared a story with photos of immigrant children in cages. It turns out the photos were from 2014 during the Obama administration. In December 2018, NBC reported Trump was the first president since 2002 not to visit the troops at Christmas time, but Trump actually left the White House on Christmas to visit troops in Iraq. ABC aired video purportedly showing a slaughter and horrific report of atrocities against Kurds by Turkey. Trump withdrew U.S. troops.
This video right here, Turkey's military bombing Kurd civilians in a Syrian border town.
But the video was file tape of a training video in the U.S. In November 2019, Newsweek falsely reported that President Trump was spending Thanksgiving golfing in Florida. He was actually in Afghanistan serving dinner to U.S. troops.
Good morning.
CBS aired a story in March of 2020, supposedly showing a New York hospital crowded with coronavirus patients.
It's all hands on deck in America's hospitals.
It was actually file tape from Italy. A week later, CBS News mistakenly used the Italy video again. And those are just a few examples. Slanted examines what's behind this trend and also takes a deep dive into the very public devolution of the New York Times and CNN, where I used to work.
Can I get these comments off my face? I see half my face right
I
now.
can't quite read them. I'm trying to figure out what they're saying, but they're too small for me to read, Spaces.
Thank you.
I hope they're complimentary.
Yeah, StreamYard does that so people can, read the chat. There's another option for people to read the chat. So,
You got a question, Nikki?
I think she had to step away for a second.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I've been talking my butt off. I done asked what you thought and what was going on. I done said a lot of things. I'm sorry.
I'm glad we didn't hear them.
It's popcorn style. So go ahead. We'll spend about 10 minutes on this.
What I think about when it comes to the propaganda, yes, I definitely see it from the left aiming at the right. As I was saying earlier, I would like to see if it happens. I'm sure it does. If it happens from the right to the left, if it happens, because I'm noticing with these conversations, like I listened to the press conference with Caroline Levitt today, and they asked her a question about how, I forget what it was specifically, and I apologize for even bringing it up because I don't have a specific example. But they asked her a question about how something is being portrayed in the media, and she explained what is being portrayed in the media versus what happened, and she gave a specific example, like a specific reference to what it is that she's talking about. So, to that regard, it's like, yeah, I see it. I see it firsthand. It's like I hate that. I hate that. Why just can't on a base level? Why can't people just have an honest conversation on both ends? Because clearly it's because they have to prove their point to make the other side look bad. I know that, but I'm saying,
but the news should be doing that.
I agree. It shouldn't be like that, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying that I hate, because instead of you having people's genuine interest at heart, instead of you wants the people to know the truth so they can be as informed as possible, you cover up and 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 cover up the truth because you're trying to portray a particular narrative. I see that all the time, and I promise you, I really am not trying to point fingers, but I honestly see that with the left the most. I'm not saying it doesn't happen on the right. I want to clarify that. And please, I like to be informed as much as possible. So send me a link, show me a video where they said this happened versus what really happened. Please show me.
Well, I was just looking it up while he was talking, but I'm only finding people saying.
Well, Rupert Murdoch owns most of the news outlets. If
Some
I'm
of
talking
them,
like
a lot of them.
Like at least
he owns most of
them. Not all, but most of them are owned. He owns like 93% of them.
The main ones, yeah.
Course,
and honestly, I think he partly owned. I feel like some years ago, I felt like he partly owned Fox too.
Oh, 100%. Nikki, that's his whole deal with Fox.
And that's all.
No,
I mean,
Rupert Murdoch is Fox.
He's all of them. We just said that. You just agreed to that.
I do.
He most of them, and it was something that Obama signed that gave them rights to just put something out without finishing it. That's why a lot of times they use words to maybe they can't get sued or they'll apologize or they'll take something out. But like I said, they'll start a story but won't finish the story. And that's all.
Oh,
like for example, I remember when the lady from New York, I forget her name, and she said, I know kids in Harlem that don't even know what a computer is.
Oh, Kathy Hochul.
I'm like, what are you talking about? What kids don't know what a computer is? I remember the same I remember when the Democrats were saying blacks couldn't get an ID, just so they could just to prove that we need to let people in the country without an ID because they're hard to get. And I remember it was these videos going online, and they were asking black people, "Do you have an ID?" And I thought it was the craziest thing ever, cause I mean I know black people that won't carry their ID, but I don't know any that don't have them.
That's for sure.
But like I said, the media has always been our biggest enemy. And I'm just talking about from a people standpoint of this country.
We need to boycott the media. I think if both sides stop watching, they'll get their act together.
When they would come after slaves were freed, when they were coming after black men, they started it with cartoons to demonize black men. That's how you got the cartoons talking about how we love watermelon and chicken, which I think everybody loves watermelon and chicken. It's delicious. Why wouldn't you love it?
You ain't gotta be black to like watermelon chicken.
But that's all I'm saying.
I mean, I eat it, but I don't love watermelon.
I mean, but you do love chicken, though.
I don't love it because I'm tired of it.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Nikki, so you play a video that's 100% one-sided. All the left going against the right with things that are wrong. They never should have said that. And then you're wondering about propaganda. Why the frick wouldn't you make it half and half? Because there's plenty
I couldn't find nothing. I couldn't find nothing.
You got wow, that's amazing.
Damn.
See, that's
I literally
Nikki,
just said I was looking for it in real time, and I said all I saw was like talking heads. I didn't see like nothing I could play. That's what I was doing while y'all was talking. When Spaces said that, I said let me look up and see if I could find some on Fox.
Damn, you still have to remember who owns those news outlets.
I typed on Fox show. I said Fox fake news. That's what I put on there.
All right.
But then it was just Fox coming up saying
Nikki,
it's fake news.
Can I speak?
You asked
so
me
you played a video that was 100% one-sided to show what propaganda is. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? If you can't find the right line, Nikki, never mind. I'll just shut up.
I was just playing. I said you called me a propagandist. Is that what you called
why
me?
would you play something that's 100% one-sided
That's
and
all
then
I could
ask us our
find.
opinion? Because you couldn't find it. I'll tell you. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet because
I said I couldn't find it on Fox.
But I do want to ask this question. When you have outlets like the New York Times, when you have outlets like CNN, why would they be reporting fake news regardless?
I agree. Jamil, I agree. It's wrong.
Because
but
it's not pulling those quotes from a small news outlet. It's not like Memphis News. It's the #1 providers of news to the country. They're too big to be wrong.
Oh, Fox isn't?
All of them, Tim. We're saying all of them.
Well, no. Hey, can I talk a second without you guys cutting me off? So Fox paid a huge fine for lying. They paid the biggest fine in the history of television for lying about the election. But you wouldn't play that. They told lie after lie after lie, and they had to pay. Nikki, I'm talking, and they had to pay a huge fine. Look that up. The largest fine in the history of broadcast television.
About the fine.
Well, then why are you talking over me?
Because you act like we not been saying this whole night. All the media, you the only one trying to separate it. You're literally the only one separating it when we've been saying all night, the media, Fox included, the media. I said Fox gonna lean conservative, and they gonna lean left. I've been saying it all night. I could not find one. Now, honestly, hold up. You asked me a question.
No, I didn't. When I
looked at that clip, I didn't even really notice if it was a Fox one in there or not. I just knew it was a collage and it had all the mainstream media. I just looked it up, but I do got one more.
No, can I say something? Because I'm going to get off because it's way over time.
Don't get off. I don't want you to leave.
Well,
you know we on a delay.
Here's the thing, Nikki. You know why you couldn't find one? Because your algorithms won't give you one. Because you are so into the other algorithm that you can't find one that talks about anything that you don't agree with.
No,
And
it
that's
ain't.
the
I
bottom
searched
line.
it.
And this
How that
if you
work?
want, I'm still talking. Jesus, you guys won't let me finish what I'm saying. Never mind, I'm done.
We're doing the same thing you're doing. We just interjecting. But no, I searched it, Tim. It wasn't my algorithm. I had to search this stuff.
Well, I search it and it come up in a heartbeat.
Let me do it again. All right. Fox fake news is real. Let's see what this is. Oh, this talking about the hat you was talking about, I guess. But see, I can't believe them because they be lying. Hold on. Fox News accused of cap cover. Okay. Oh, you talking about the hat. We already talked about the hat.
Is you gonna play it?
You know, Nikki,
No,
I
I'm
love
trying
you,
to
but
find
way
one
over
that's
time,
talking
and
about something. He said about the loss. I'm trying to find one that
Fox
they
lawsuit about lying about
right,
the
but I
election.
wanted to find
Try
something where it
typing
was a
that
bunch
in
of
to
them
your algorithm.
Fox fake news caught using old misleading
Oh,
footage.
that's a good one. That's
It's
what I was
still the
just talking
hat
about.
though. Everything coming up on this hat. We'll just watch the hat.
You guys are cutting them off real bad though. I gotta say that.
We sorry.
Play that one though, Nikki.
I'm gotta get it set up.
Oh man.
Oh man. Oh, say, can you see?
Yeah, this.
I gotta tell you, I much love hearing you sing than hearing you talk.
That sounds very, very
That's
misogynistic.
wrong. That's really wrong. I love you, Nikki.
No, I'm just playing. That was funny.
Before we move on, we want to acknowledge a mistake made earlier on our
Can you hear
program.
it?
During our coverage of yesterday's dignified transfer, we inadvertently aired video from an older dignified transfer instead of the ceremony that took place yesterday. We deeply regret the error and extend our respect and condolences to the service members' families. We honor the sacrifice of those 6 American heroes. They are Captain Cody Cork, Sergeant First Class Nicola Moore, Sergeant First Class Noah T-Chens, Sergeant Declan Cody, Major Jeffrey O'Brien, and Chief Warrant Officer 3, Robert Marzon. All.
I wonder why they do that.
Yeah, it's because they're protected. You know, that's
I mean,
not showing,
protected
that's
from
not
what,
showing the
though?
real thing, Nikki. That's
No,
you know,
I'm saying
I get it.
to
That's
me,
their
it's,
apology.
to me, it's protecting from what? Like the hat is no big deal. So that's why I say, why the hell would they do that?
Well, because I don't know. I'm gonna.
I guess
say
maybe because they
I'm
knew
just-
other people would think that, like you said, it's some type of rule or something. I guess I
it's
didn't know that.
respect.
It don't
You
bother
didn't
me.
know that it's respect.
People
To
have
take your
hats
hat
on all
off.
the time.
All right, that's
At
all right.
funerals everywhere.
Anyway,
Are you
I'm
saying
not
as far
running
as
out
the
on ideas,
military?
but I gotta go.
I'm asking
All
you a
right.
question. Are
All
you
right.
saying as far as the military, that's a rule or something?
You know, Trump never follows rules, and that's okay with me.
That is literally not what I asked you.
It is a rule. It is a rule, and you can look it up. You
I
take
don't
your
have to
hat
look it
off.
up. I'm asking you because I don't know.
All right, I'm going to tell you the answer to that. When you are at a service or if the flag is passing by, you take your hat off and you put it over your heart.
Well, I didn't know that.
Well, it's just the truth, and Trump knows it. But the other thing that's on top of that is just not that, but the hat he was wearing is a hat he sells to promote himself, and that's the worst part of it. If it was a hat that was like a Dodgers hat or a whatever hat, but it's a hat he sells to make money for himself.
Why would he wear
And
a
that's
Dodger
sick.
hat?
Well, I don't know, but all I'm trying to say, if it was a blank hat, if it had nothing on it, that would still be disrespectful, but it wouldn't be a hat that he wears to promote making money for himself. The hat he wore, he sells for $55, and the money goes into his pocket.
Where you get them from?
Well, that's kind of disgusting.
Where you order them from?
Trump.com. I don't know. but probably. I don't know.
No, but this was
But
the
that's
last
the
one.
worst
This
part of it.
quick, and this is recent.
Oh,
We're
it
gonna
better be. 'Cause
cover it.
I
and we-
really do got to go, lover. All
Okay,
right.
we're gonna
All right.
go. But it's kind of the same thing. So both apparently, because I did not know about the hat till you said something early. So apparently both places had to make apologies. And I guess that just goes back to our damn issue again, that the media is trash. So we got two networks issuing apologies.
I mean, Abby Phillips just issued an apology. Oh, I'm about to play it right now.
After an attempted terror attack against New York's Mayor Zoran Mamdani, and the House Speaker Mike Johnson says nothing really to condemn those comments. Two Republicans say Muslim. But first, this morning I issued a correction first thing in the morning on X for a mistake that I made in last night's show, but I also wanted to do so on air as well. I incorrectly said that the bombs that were thrown by ISIS-inspired suspects in New York over the weekend were directed at Mayor Mamdani. They were not. I failed to catch and correct that mistake in real time, and I take full responsibility for that. And while we do make mistakes, it is important to acknowledge and correct those errors when they happen. But first.
So, moral of the story is, they ass didn't make no fucking mistake.
So the moral of the story is she was talking live in real time. Fox chose.
Here we go. You always got a damn excuse, Tim.
Sorry, I'll just shut up then.
Like, you don't even realize you be doing that. They're literally doing the same thing. They fucking lying. You don't have to make an excuse for CNN or none of them. Damn. Anyway. Can somebody please close the show out for me?
All right, everybody. This has been a great conversation. It got a little bit heated, as just like what Tim was saying earlier. This is why conversations go left at certain functions. People say that two things you shouldn't debate is religion and politics, but both of those things affect our everyday lives. It just comes up in conversation. So I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. I like hearing people's perspectives on things going on because it's all input on my part. There's a whole lot I don't know, and a lot of people that are smarter and more involved in these situations, in these conversations, they help me with my understanding on it. So I appreciate Tim. I greatly appreciate Tim for his perspectives on things. I appreciate Miss Nikki, appreciate Jamel. And Scony, he had to dip out earlier. So I appreciate everything everybody had to say. Conversations go like this sometimes. So it's not, I don't think it's no hard
I think
feelings.
it's the same thing with what Tim talked about with his family. In the Black household, we the same way when it's about religion. You know what I mean? Most of our households on the family event, when they start talking about religion, it can get really, really tense, in my opinion. And then you have some people that go, no, I ain't going over there. They Baptist. They finna be talking about all that stuff. And we Pentecostal, or, we Kojic. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with Tim's point of view, other than, like we always talk about, when it comes from the news, it used to be a point where when the news said something, it was like an encyclopedia said it. It was true, and they held themselves accountable for that. But right now, it's basically media wars. Who can get the hottest topic tonight? And it seemed like it's been going on like that since the OJ situation. When they found out how many viewers could watch it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm no, and you might be too young for this, but I doubt it. But if you notice, news didn't used to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It used to come on just at certain times. News coming on at 7. That's it. Now it's 24 hours a day news, and guess what? They got to have something every 10 minutes or 15 minutes to report. So instead of just finding truths, it just seems like they just putting out anything just to incur the time. So, it's kind of watered down.
Yeah. Well,
and we, the American people, we deserve better.
Okay, so real quick, sorry, Dang just what's up, Dang? He said, if you are in the military, you do not remove your hat when the flag passes. You salute. Just saying.
All right. Well, we want to give a shout out to everybody that hung out with us.
Yeah.
We got Heat Prime. We got Dang. I saw Desiree in here, didn't I?
Yeah, she was the first comment.
Shout out to Desiree for hanging out with us. And yeah, we love Tim. Sometimes me and Tim, I don't even know if water and oil is the right term because we not that. But back to the beginning of this conversation, I feel like they shouldn't be estranged from their family, and me and Tim will be fine, but we do get frustrated because he is a liberal at the end of the day, and I am a learning conservative. But that being said, we love Tim's perspective. We like him starting the show today. He got frustrated. He left. I'm sorry, Tim. But
well, he did say multiple times that he had to go.
Yeah. Well, it's all good. At the end of the day, the media trash. And we got to take all this information that we get because it's an overload, but we won't know what's going. We got to know what's going on. I just say watch all of them, especially independent media. Watch people like us, get other people's perspectives, have the conversations, and we can fight the media, but we should boycott the media unless they give me a job.
I was gonna say they ain't gonna do nothing but hire us. So they start boycott. You gonna cross the line?
No, they ain't gonna. I ain't taking no money. They gonna have to let me say what I want to say. So I ain't got time to be lying to the American people.
They gonna just say read this teleprompter. You don't know you lied. You trying to focus on reading out loud.
No, you got to know you lied. But that's the thing about journalists now. They're not. They can't be doing their own reporting and morally can go to bed at night knowing what they reading is some bull.
But you got to remember they stories. Like, remember if you look at the words, she's just reporting on the story. She's being told what to say. So it's not like this is a story she found. That's not the code that they live by anymore. They just read the teleprompter nice and pretty and smile and make sure they pause at the periods and the commas. And make sure their outfit look good. The outfit
y'all remember when I showed y'all that video when all of them got sent out something, they were saying the same thing about when they was trying to combat when fake news and they was trying to like put their message out. Yeah. They probably all get like one kind of message, like whatever the guy name on all this stuff. But it's sad.
And like I said, it is gonna be lopsided when you got one person owns all the major news headlines.
Yeah.
So
what y'all think? He just giving Fox a pass, just to say we got it, or another money play? Because I don't think he fully owned them. When I looked it up, it was like a percentage of them, and he owned all of the other ones.
I think this is where it plays into what people say when they're both sides are two wings of the same bird. I think he I don't know. I just heard about this tonight, so this is just my theory off of what we're talking about tonight. In order to fit his best interest, which typically is financial best interest, financial and influential best interest, he has to make both sides, the powers that be, has to have both sides play against each other. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
That made it worse, Jamil.
Right.
There you go.
Oh dang, we just not being able to see you.
That's nice. And but the other thing is, I think if he does own Fox, he would be taken to court for the monopoly agreements that this country always have. If they feel like you monopolizing something, and they'll take everything. So that's probably why Fox get free reign.
I don't have no advertising bids or nothing, but I do like to look at ground news, and they show, like, I don't know if y'all heard of ground news. If you go on ground news and they'll show, like, say it's one story, right? They'll show how the left reporting on it is separated, and you can see how the right reporting on it, how many times they reporting on it versus the other side. And then they got a neutral side in the middle. So you can look at literally like both sides, with each side saying, and then look at the neutral side too, which is usually not a lot to look graphically like that big with the neutral.
Dang said Nikki's shirt says "Me and God" versus whoever wants to lose. That's the last part. He's talking about your shirt.
Oh,
shirt. Whoever wants to lose.
Yep, there it is. So I'm in this fight till the death. With that being said, I'm just another brown girl in America. My co-host, Jamel, Spaces, Tim, Scony. Had a good time. Thanks for hanging out. Share this live stream. Get this videos in the algorithm so we can get this chat full. Hang out with us. We cool over here. Come on over to Auntie House. Have a good time. Bye.